All right. So vertically opposite angles or just opposite angles. So in other words, we have two lines that are crossing, right? And if I have this angle, let's call it alpha, and this angle, let's call it beta. Those two angles that are opposite each other are equal.
I was just wondering, so does vertical mean?
Vertical means straight up and down, but these are actually horizontally opposite, aren't they?
Up and down, like both two.
Exactly. So the other two would have to be equal as well. Yes. Yes. Okay. So let's look at the lesson, and so we can see what we're working on today. So we're going to be talking about vertically opposite angles, right?
So vertical is up and down, and then the opposite part. What does that mean?
Opposite means across from each other. So here we go. So we have two lines crossing in this case, and because the two lines cross each other, the size of the angles that they create are predictable. So if you look at these two angles, if this one is 60 degrees, that means that the one immediately opposite, beta in this case, is also what? 60 degrees. Don't even have to do any math. The angles across from each other are what?
The same.
Equal. Okay? So opposite angles are equal.
Are we writing this down?
If I'm writing it down, then you should write it down, right? Isn't that the rule?
So beta equals 60 degrees.
Back of something. I don't really have.
Opposite
Okay.
angles.
Are they always equal, or are they?
A and what?
B.
B. Anything else?
A.
A and C. Yeah. Okay? Now,
What about D?
how about B?
B and D.
B and D. B and A and B and D, right? Okay? How about C? And we already have it on our list, but it's fine.
So do we have to write it?
Well, we're just writing all of them this time, so okay. So C and what? C and A and C and D. Good. In no particular order, right? I just like to do things in alphabetical order because I'm a math teacher. And I'm just nuts. Okay?
I did it like in the square, like in the order.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, so you just went around. I'm just doing alphabetical order. It's okay.
What's the
How about
point
D?
of all these numbers? What's the point
D
of all
and
these?
D and C,
D plus B.
D and B. We did that one backwards. Okay? Those are all adjacent because they are what? Side by side, next to each other. Exactly. Now, let's think about opposite angles. Okay? So if I have A, what angle is the opposite from A? D, right? A is across from D, so opposite of D. Okay? How about B? B and C, good. How about C? Oh, be careful. C and B, there you go. I wasn't going clockwise, I was going in alphabetical order. How about D?
D and A.
D and A. And why are they opposite? Because they're not
Side by side.
side by side, or what's the proper word for it? Adjacent. Kiss me out.
I'm kind of confused. What's the difference between adjacent and complementary?
Well, complementary is a specific kind of adjacent angle. Two angles are complementary if they're adjacent and they sum to make what? A plus B would have to be what?
It has to be the same answer.
No, not the same number, but 90 degrees. There you go. Okay? All right? So it's a special kind of adjacent. They're adjacent and they add up to make 90 degrees. Yes?
So would you call that complementary or adjacent?
Well, they're adjacent angles, but they are complementary. So they're both.
Yeah, complementary.
Well, they're both.
Yeah, but what would you say?
Well, it depends on what the question is asking. Are they adjacent? Yes. So you would say yes, they are adjacent. Are they complements? Yes, they're both, right? So they can be either one. And so it depends on the question you're being asked, okay? So you can be asked either of those questions, okay? Yes, ma'am.
A little confused. So that's adjacent if it equals 180.
No. It's not adjacent because they equal 180. It's adjacent because they are what? Side by side, right? Now, they are supplements. Why? Supplementary means what? They add to make what? 180. Right. So that's a straight line. So if I have this, and I have this, and this is A, and this is B, are A and B adjacent to each other? Yes. Are they supplementary? Yes, because if they're sitting on a straight line, right? So that means they're supplementary, which means that if you add A and B, what would you get? 180 degrees. Okay? So I'm going to put together a review exercise for us, but we'll work on these, okay? So let's continue our look at these, at the angles across the opposites, and then we'll talk about a little bit more about putting it all together. Again, typically with angles, I use A, B, and C because I can write them easier, but most of the time you're going to see them using the Greek alphabet, right? That way you know you're not looking for some unknown number, you're looking for some unknown what? Angle, yeah.
Grammar.
Okay? Gamma.
Oh,
Yeah.
like bases and black.
Y is gamma.
So, gamma. Okay? Adjacent to means next to or side by side. Adjacent angles are angles that are next to each other. So here, angle A, angle alpha, and angle gamma are adjacent because they are what?
Next to.
Side by side, next to each other. Right? Do you see that?
Yes.
These two angles are side by side, so they are adjacent. Okay? Now, put somebody on the spot. Cora,
Yes.
can you tell me what angle is opposite gamma?
60 degrees.
You betcha. Whoops. Holy moly. Okay. 60 degrees. Excellent. Okay? So they're opposites because they are immediately across from each other. Right? They're in opposite corners. Yeah? It's just a Greek letter. Yeah.
It's the same as like.
Yeah.
That's that Y looking thing. Yeah. Okay. Gamma, Gamma.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Wait.
All right. So, the kitten and the duck are adjacent to each other. Why?
Because I have
Side by side. Okay. Now, what if there was a wall between them? They are on what sides? Opposite sides of the wall. There you go. And that's how it works. Okay, here we go. All right. Oops, we're getting into your homework. I don't want to do that. I want to do some more of our
We
homework.
should try some.
Okay, here we go. When two lines cross each other, vertically opposite angles are directly opposite each other, and they are always what?
Equal.
Equal. So vertically opposite, directly opposite each other, and they're always what? Equal.
Can we write this?
So alpha is opposite what in this case? That funny B. Beta, right? So therefore they are opposites, which also makes them equal. Opposites, and they're equal. Okay? And I don't know what they're doing with that cat.
So vertically opposite and directly opposite angles are equal.
Vertical angles are directly opposite, and they are always equal. We wrote that a moment ago. Okay? But you can write it down again if you want to. And so you see, down here they've written alpha degrees is equal to beta degrees. Okay? Always the same.
What is directly
Straight across. Right? Directly opposite. So straight across. Okay? All right. Here we go. Vertically opposite angles share the same vertex. What's vertex mean?
Where the two arms join.
Where the two arms of an angle join. Exactly. Good job. Okay? So that they share the same vertex. So otherwise they wouldn't be opposite each other because they have to be across the vertex from each other. Okay? Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Okay? So in this case, notice that this 60-degree angle is straight across that other one, right? And their vertex is that little dot right in the middle. That's the thing that's where the lines cross is what makes the angles, aren't they?
Oh, I
Okay.
see now.
So, if this is 76, then what's this thing that I just put empty circle for? 76 degrees. I'm sorry, I should put that there. All right? So if this one's 76 degrees, what's this blank circle? 76 degrees. Okay? If this one is 76, okay, does that tell me anything about this one? Be careful, because where it's pointing, look where it's pointing. No, it's not. Because this is a straight line right here, isn't it? So if this one is 76 degrees, then this one can't be, if I may call that capital A.
Because it's not adjacent.
Because, yeah, they have to add up to make what? 180. So what is angle A then? Is 104 degrees. Because 180 degrees minus 76 degrees.
But these two opposites.
No, they're side by side. They're adjacent. Okay. Look closely at where the lines are. Okay, hold on. All right. See, it's saying this is 76, this is 76, this is 76, this is 76. Because they have the little angle thing. That means we know the measure.
I thought they were saying.
Right. Yeah.
That one was saying. That's why I got
Okay.
confused.
So that's where the 76s are.
That one.
Oh, that line right there. Well, you have to put 76 plus 76 plus something equals
Yeah. So if all of those ones I just colored in blue are 76, that means every other angle in this whole thing is what? 104.
Yeah, but
Gets a little too cluttery to show in that diagram. Okay? Now, again, don't worry about that. That's a horrible diagram. They shouldn't have given you that. Don't worry about it too much. All right. How about this one? 120 degrees is opposite what? 120 degrees. Okay? So if this is A and this is B, are they opposites or adjacent? Opposites. Okay? Okay, yes, and they are 60 degrees. Degrees. Don't forget the degrees part. Okay. All right. So you can also have more lines. Okay. So guys, come on, pay attention. This is really easy if you let it be. But you can also have more lines. So look at this. We have one line that's cutting along this way, and it's cutting across two lines that are exactly the same distance apart. What is it called when two lines are traveling along? They're exactly the same distance apart. What? Starts with a P? Parallel, yeah. So this line, let's just call this X, call this Y, and call this one, better not get into that. So we'll call it line M. Because I was going to say Z, and y'all would yell at me. All right? Because y'all don't like Z. You like Z. Well, I could say H too, but I'm not going to. I know. H. All right. And that's why Z is also Z. All right, here we go. Come on. I'm sorry. I hate to get y'all straddled. Just started this. So look at this. So you see that if X and Y are parallel, M is crossing both of them, right? But if they're traveling in the same direction and M is crossing them, that means whatever happens on X is at the intersection of M and X is the same as what happens at the intersection of M and Y. Because the two lines are parallel, the angles formed by M are going to be exactly the same. So if it says that A here is the same as B here, okay, then I label this C and D.
They will be the same too.
They're going to be the same as well. And that means A is going to be the same as B, and A is also the same as C, and A is also the same as D.
why?
Because they're parallel, so that means that when you cut them, you're going to create just more of exactly the same angles. What's happening is that you're creating two sets of identical angles. And again, that's because these two lines are parallel. Now, if they went off in all wonky directions like this, that's not the case, right? But because the lines are parallel, that happens. Okay? All right.
Mr. Sal,
Go on.
I just mean this in like, could you see us
It'll be
like
under 10 minutes.
Anyway, moving on. Okay.
so that we can practice for the test?
So, all right. So, any angles that are vertically opposite are going to be equal.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, so.